Hello there, it's Dr. Judith Browse back, and here we are in the new year again. And I thought the best way to celebrate the new year is bring back one of our top guests from last year to talk about a topic that is so instrumental for all of us. I don't care what your genre is. I don't care if you're fiction or nonfiction. Instagram is a player. So I always like to start with a quote from my little book, Snappy, Sassy, Salty Success for Authors and Writers, How to Create It, with over 400 quotes. And I just randomly open it, and here it is, perfecto for this session. Social media success doesn't come overnight. It comes from work, planning, learning, and having fun with what you're doing. So, with that said, we're off and running. Back is the awesome Jules Marie, who has all kinds of goodies she can add to her hat of whoever she wants to be, but she really is a digital marketing strategist. What she helps is develop brands and uncover the gaps that prevent authors to escape from their brand and bring them back on focus. She has tons of fans, she's got followers, and she helps them create the revenues they deserve. If that sounds like something that fits for you, hang in. This hour is going to reveal all the ins and outs, where you want to go in this new year with Instagram and the ever changing changes that come our way. You can find Jules Marie on her website, which is 33words.us. And Jules, welcome back.
Thanks for having me again, Judith. I enjoy your podcast very much.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, we have fun. Sometimes it's like, oh no, I got to do another podcast. But then when I get into it, we have, and it's hard for me to believe there's over 400, 500 of them now
Yeah.
out there. So all of you, you can subscribe and you can go back into the archives on that. Or if you really want to see the whole enchilada, you can go to the radio station, Toginet, TOGINET .com, and get into the archives under the Author You, Your Guide to Book Publishing title. So with that said, Jules, where do we start? And maybe I should start this. What's old and what's new with Instagram? And maybe why Instagram? How's that for a start?
Okay, that's making me tickle my brain a little bit. What's
Ooh.
old? What's old on
Yep.
Instagram? Top of mind, what came to me are still photos, just photos. When Instagram began, it was about posting the highest quality photos, graphics possible. It was to create, the idea behind it was to create almost a portfolio of your best work. And that doesn't
Mhm.
mean if you're just a photographer or an artist or you're a brand, but putting in images that really speak to what it is that you offer. And that fell away about 3 years ago when the CEO of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, declared that Instagram was no longer just a photo sharing app, but it was a video sharing app. And for anybody who uses Instagram or doesn't use it, one of the most important features are using reels. Reels are videos, reels have movement, and that's what people are looking for. We've been looking at still images on Instagram for a decade. And so I can post a reel that might get, I'm thinking of a recent one, 1,600 views. I post similar content on my grid and I maybe get 10 thumbs up and no comments because where it's at are reels. So if you're not using reels, you really need to learn how to best practices for using them. We'll talk about that a little bit today.
Oh, I love that. I love that idea. Does it make sense to do maybe some combos to have a reel and maybe kind of just a still and then another reel, kind of like in a storyline? Would that make sense?
Yeah, you want to shake up your content. So when you're creating, you can even on your grid. Well, the challenge right now is if on your grid you post a combination of stills and video and add a still and a video, they are going to put that on your Reels tab because anything with movement becomes a reel. So even if you've added still photos to it, it's going to show up on your Reels tab. And for the most part, most reels can also show up on your profile grid. You know, the three, when I say grid, I mean the 3 by 3 by 3. So
Hmm.
sometimes I don't want those videos on my grid and I check the box to turn it off the grid. Sometimes I'm okay with them appearing there, but I usually want my grid to look different. I'm looking for that high quality, shiny, professional look on the grid. And sometimes the reels, they have a different look. The cover image that you put on might not fit the rest of what your grid looks like. So
Hmm.
I typically tend to keep those separate because my grid is just so it's just different. I'm creating different content for the grid, and it's typically going to just be the stills and a carousel. As you may know, a carousel is when you're putting up 5, 6, 7, 8 different photos, not videos, and they will not become a reel and they will only appear on your grid. So typically carousels on the grid are going to get more exposure than just one photo in your post.
So is off the top of the head, I mean, I wonder if we could even do show and tell here. Is there visual examples that we could jump into and show? Would that make sense?
Well, I don't have any pulled up right now.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
then, or are there names that you might want to refer people to that they could go and check out that you think have ideal examples? We can noodle that and come back to that. But I think I'm a show and tell person. People can talk about it, but how about showing me? Get me there so I can go, I get it. I get it. On that. And
Well,
I bet a lot of you out there might be kind of like me too. So,
well, show and tell, it's good. A lot of people, they learn when you sit side by side and really show them how to do
mhm.
the work. So I know we'll have a break coming up. So during that break, I'll see if I can pull up some profiles. No breaks.
Actually, we're going to have no breaks. We get to go straight through. So,
Oh, we get to go straight through. Okay, well, let's
yeah,
just see if I can figure out how to do that because I was not prepared to pull up any of the
we're we're,
posts.
to,
But
we're totally fine. Yeah, we're
okay,
totally okay.
so what I just want to stress again that Reels, people will say to me, well, I'm not a video editor. I don't really know how to create videos. I don't know how to edit them. And so here's the caveat. You do not need to be a professional videographer to create reels. People want to see what's real, real. They want to see what's really
Mm.
happening. And so you don't need a professional. Some people will use that, but for everyday users, we don't need to be professionals because for the most part, these reels, these short form videos, they're rarely longer than 15 seconds. And so and they give you templates on Instagram to follow. So I use the templates. I'll pull up the Reels tab and it'll show me some of the templates that are trending. They already have the music added, they already have captions added, and then all I have to do is go in and change the photos to my photos or my videos in order to create that reel. So when I first started creating reels several years ago, I mean, it took me a long time, but I can now create a reel in 10 minutes because
Mhm.
I'm using my phone. I have all access to all of my photos or my clients' photos on my phone. So then I can just string them together following this template and then I can publish it. So
Mhm.
it does not it just doesn't require a professional to create these reels. And it'll take you a few tries. The first time I did them, I mean, I just kept dumping everything into my draft file because I knew that I had made mistakes. They didn't look right. The captions didn't connect. Uh, there were just problems. And so you will have what I call flops. Things will go wrong. And so, you just have to expect it. And you're going to be like, I just put a half an hour into that and it just looks bad. Don't publish it. Because if it doesn't look good, it's not going to attract your
Dump it.
followers or
Yep.
potentially any non followers. And so don't look at it as a waste of time. Look at it as obviously a learning experience, because failure is just a way to fix your mistakes, right? That's how I look at it when it comes to creating this content, because sometimes it just doesn't look good and I don't want it showing up on my grid because it's not going to appeal to people.
Well, I don't worry about mistakes. Mistakes are all a part of the learning curve.
Right.
And you go on and you will get better. I mean, yeah, Jules, when I think back to when I started writing, go over 40 years ago, and I remember my first book landed me on Good Morning America. And I'm thought, well, I should probably reread my book again since I did write it. And I read it and going back and on that plane, I'm thinking, why did you write it this way? You could have said it better this
Right.
way. And the thing is, this is an ongoing learning curve. This is our cycle here on Earth. And there are things that the way you did it then, you wouldn't do it now, just because of your experience and the way you think, or other opportunities, options that come in to do stuff. So it's the good thing is change. I like change. So change is to me a blessing in some of the stuff. Some of it, if you want to get me going on the new iPhone 17 Pro, I'd like to kill the designers of it. And it's like the most unintuitive thing I've ever come across. And, and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and the thing is, and I start asking other people, I said, is anyone else having, and we're all in
Yes.
the same boat. So now we're looking for someone who will do an in-person training with us because we don't want to watch another guy from, another country with a different language trying to tell us how to, we want, show me, just tell me what thing do I push next?
Right. Right. And with social media, any part of digital marketing, it is ongoing learning process. It feels like, I mean, I've been in this now for 12 years, and what I did 12 years ago is nothing like what I'm doing today. 12 years ago, our focus was simply on Facebook, and we would add one photo, and all of our friends would see it. But then this algorithm thing happened, right? The algorithm
Oh,
thing. And
oh,
so
the
we are constantly fighting the noise out there on social media. We're always trying to create content that rises above the noise because
Mhm.
we want our fans, our followers, our potential shoppers, consumers to see our content. And typically nowadays, 5 to 10%, not even 10 really, of your fans and followers are going to see your content. And so when you are able to create more compelling, robust content, you kind of pop open that algorithm, and then the social
Mm.
platforms begin showing it to more people. And that is how you gain non-followers. You've got your followers, you're trying to get more people interested in your brand who they never heard of you before. So when you create more compelling content that really triggers a response, then your platforms are going to grow. You just can't keep doing the same thing we were all doing 12 years ago. It is not going to grow a brand.
No, and that's what's essential, this whole branding thing,
Mm-hmm.
on who you
Mm-hmm.
are and what you are. And actually, once you develop your brand, who you want to say you are, using whatever colors, it makes it easier, people. It makes it easier because you're going to get rid of some of your own outside noise that's coming in that doesn't belong there. And I think
Right,
it's really important, for that.
right, right, right. Well,
Okay.
I want to just talk about I want to go back to Reels, but I want to talk about
Mhm.
one of the hot new trends in Instagram. It's not too
Mhm.
new. It's been around about 6 months, and it's called trial Reels. So
Okay.
what's cool about trial Reels, I love them. I love Instagram in general. But what's cool about trial Reels it's like a test reel that you are showing only to non-followers, only to non-followers. So when you're on your
Oh,
Instagram page and you're creating your reel, you know how you can tag the location you're in, you can tag collaborators. In that very same section, there's a toggle button next to the word trial reels, and you toggle it on, and that reel does not appear on your grid. It does not appear in your profile. It does not appear on your Reels tab. It appears on the trial Reels tab. And it's going to be shown to people who are not following you. And what's cool about that is that your followers, they know your brand. They know what you're about. They've seen your product, your clothing, your what your hair salon looks like, what your auto mechanic shop looks like, whatever. They've read your book. They're familiar with you as a writer, all of that. But your non-followers have no idea who you are. So this trial reels is a way to reach other people. So what Instagram does is they
Mm.
begin showing it to your non-followers over a
Mhm.
72-hour period. If it does well, it will then
Yeah.
go into your Reels tab, and if you have it checked, it'll also appear on your grid. And here's where we'll use the word flop again. You will have flops. I've done trial reels that got no impressions, no engagement, nothing. So why? It didn't work. Something about that reel did not appeal to people. And that for me is a learning experience. Something didn't appeal to them. Most likely, what did not appeal is whatever you had showing in the first 1 to 3 seconds. Something went awry. It's the
That
same
is logical to me. Yeah.
it's the same as writing a newsletter or any caption. It's got to grab attention. And your followers already know who you are, but the non-followers don't. So if you start saying in your first 1 to 3 seconds, I've been writing novels for 20 years, you might have just lost the people. Pop in
Hmm.
with what's the genre? As an award-winning author, my genre, my specialty is
Blah,
horror,
blah, blah.
is historical fiction, whatever it is. So you have to put it out there immediately, because if people bounce off, you did not attract them. So something went wrong. And typically, what
Hmm.
I would do is I'll take that trial reel and I'll change up the beginning. I'll change up what I said. I might have captions appearing, right? The voiceover. So I'll change up the voiceover, because how many people don't have their volume on because they're looking at social media while they're on the job? And so the captions better be clear, right?
Hmm.
Best-selling author launches new book. Okay, I'm in. I'm in. All right, I want to know. I love books. If you're a best-selling author, I'm likely to want to read what you wrote. So get that into the caption, into the voiceover. So, because if you make me wait to find out what you're offering, your trial reel will flop. And so it's just really important that it will take experimenting. I think I did maybe half a dozen trial reels, and four of them wound up getting noticed and by enough people that they then did get sort of that extra approval from Instagram, opened up the algorithm, and then followers saw it, non-followers saw it, it was shared, it was commented on. So that's the important reason for using trial reels, because right now, if you just put a reel up, your followers are going to see it. But aren't we always trying to attract new people? I hear the word
Always, always.
plateau.
So,
I'm at a plateau. Nobody's looking at my content. I'm not growing. I've only got 6 followers. How do I get 7? That's the problem when you're at a plateau, is you're constantly delivering content to your current followers. Trial reels will bring you new followers.
so they're the new secret sauce kind of the
Yeah,
thing. Okay, so I'm just that would be one of my little bullet points. Discovered the
yeah,
secret sauce.
yeah.
But so on a trial reel, and let's say how do you know when the algorithm gods have said, "Oh, well, we're going to let other people see this"? What's the
You get
trigger that
notification. You'll
you
get a
do get?
notification in
Okay.
Instagram, like they do now. They'll say your reel is generating more engagement than your previous reels. Um, so you will get notification on a
Hmm.
trial reel about how it's doing. And it'll
Hmm.
also tell you, again, if it's a flop. Nobody's engaging with this reel. And so when there's no engagement, it falls off. Nobody, it's like any of the platforms. It just, if nothing happens in that first 45 minutes, it failed. It's the same with Facebook. If you put up content and there's no engagement within 45 minutes, it's already moving so far down that it's unlikely people will see it. And so you've got to watch those notifications from Instagram praising you, telling you, oh, you did such a great job. Um, and
Go, girl, go.
yeah, go, go, go. And so that's one of the things I like about it is I feel like every platform has a marketing assistant, and your notifications come in from those Instagram marketing bots or AIs, whatever they are, and they're telling you how well you're doing. And so if typically if something does well, I create more content that's similar, right? Something grabbed them. I don't know what exactly it was. It was most likely the first image, the voice over the caption that they saw. And so if that really grabbed people, I'm going to create something similar because obviously
Mhm.
people were interested. And I do that on every platform. When I look at my analytics, my performance analytics, and I see that this story post got the most engagement, I'm going to reshare something. I might even reshare that same story post the next month because it did so well. And it's not
Mhm.
about the time I posted. Everybody's like,
Mhm.
what time should I post? It's about the content. That's what moves the algorithm. It's not the time that you posted it. It's how awesome your content is. That's what moves it up and allows more people to see it.
So the old rules, I mean, and I'm sure that we have rules. What are the rules, the unwritten rules? Is that they used to say you should only post during certain days, whatever your platforms. They all had platform specifics. Are those, I mean, you're familiar with social media across the board. Is that all thrown under the bus now? Is anything goes, or are there
Well,
still
and
some days you stay away from?
that is also a most often asked question. When should I post? And for those of you who use scheduling tools like whether it's
Mhm.
Meta or Later or HubSpot or Sprout Social, they will always show you what they think are the best times to post based on when your people are online.
Mhm.
So I kind of throw that out the window. I don't know. To a new user, I would recommend you follow that because they know how many people are online at a certain time, but it doesn't mean they're your people. And so
Mhm.
I tend to look at it as when am I online? When do I check social media? Right? I check it in the morning, I check it midday, I look at night. I'm working throughout the day, so I can't just go on 24/7. I look at it as I want to post, I want to shake it up. I'm not going to post at 10 o'clock every single day. That's just like, that makes no sense. Also, let me add quickly, you don't want to post on the hour, quarter hour, half hour, because that's when everybody schedules their content. Make it 10:06, 10:28, 11:43. Don't post exactly at the top, the quarter, and the half hour because people, I don't know why they do it, but I see it all the time. They're posting at the exact same time every single day. I worked with a client who said to me, I again plateau, I'm not getting any exposure. And I said, well, when are you posting? And he said, typically, when my kids go to school and it's quiet in the house. And I'm like, got to shake that up because your people may be at work. They may not be looking at 10:30 in the morning when your kids are in
Mhm.
preschool. And he started posting completely random times and he does all real time. He doesn't use any scheduling tools. And it was about 4 days later, he sent me a text and he's like, you cannot believe the results I've been getting. And I went into his Instagram and I specifically looked at his Reels tab because he does all videos. I could not believe, like, one of the videos he had done the day before had 24,000 views. He had not gotten
Wow.
that before. And it was because he stopped posting at 10:30 in the morning because that was convenient for him. But it was
Mhm.
not necessarily when his people were looking at that kind of content. So it's really up to you. I feel like I post several times during work hours. I always post at least one evening a week. I always post on like a Saturday. I rarely post on Monday. Everybody is really busy. Mondays are, I've never seen a lot of traction on Monday content. So I typically don't post on Monday. Believe it or not, weekends are when more people are hanging out, watching a movie, and scrolling through their social media. So I'm always looking for different times to post. And for me, because of my lengthy experience, I'm not typically following the suggestions that those scheduling tools give me. Your followers are busiest are online at 1 o'clock today. Remember, 1 o'clock, that's not a good time. Make it 1:06. If you're going to use that time, make it so that you fall
Mhm.
within the range of when these scheduling tools are telling you that it's busiest.
So oddball number. I think that's always I've never posted at 10 or 11 or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Like it could be 10:05, but I kind of like the AI 10:07, 10:06.
Yeah, you want to be able, you have to show up where people are. And so they're not, it's not about it being convenient for you. And I've
Mhm.
watched this fella's, I follow him on Instagram now, and I've watched his numbers go up. And he sent me several just direct messages because we follow each other on Instagram. And he's like, I just can't believe the difference it made by changing up just the posting time. That's it. That's what moved the needle for him.
So then here's the next question. You have these followers. Let's say you're curious. Is there any for authors? Because we're talking to authors, and they're always wanting to know, is there any conversion? I mean, I can spend all day and I can have all these followers, but boy, if they're never buying a book, why bother?
Well, that becomes, we want conversions, but we have to make impressions first and we have to get engagement. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's let's move away from trial reels and talk about how to get that engagement so that people will buy your book. Here is one of the, and Judith, I know you've seen this. Here is
Mhm.
one of the fail that I often see. I read, okay, first of all, I read 200 books a year. I do. I love reading. Okay. And when I'm following an author and they post about their book on Instagram and they do not give me a link to click on, one click to buy that book, they lost a sale. And not just my sale, everybody's sale, because you did not put in a link in your Instagram, wherever you posted it. There's no way that I can easily buy it. And you'll say, you might write something like link in bio. Don't make me go to the link in bio to find your book. Okay.
Mhm.
So here's my specific suggestion. Stories. Remember, stories run horizontally at the top of the Instagram profile, right? Everything is vertical. We're always scrolling vertical to read content. Stories appear at the top. As an author, you have to be committed to giving me a link to buy. So when you post about your book in stories, then you want to open up the sticker, the little sticker function, okay? And in the sticker function, it will have right there at the top, you click on the link sticker and then you paste the link right into the link sticker. And then all I have to do is click, boom, up comes your book. I can buy it. Whether it's an
Mhm.
Amazon link, whether it's to your website, wherever it is that your book is sold, I want one link in your story so that I can buy your book. If you send me the link in bio, I'm not going there.
Is that the one where was it Instagram that was all over it? I can't remember. Is it that Linktree? Is it Linktree? What's the name of the linking that they would
Linktree is the owner of link in bio for the most
they
part.
can so and that's what you're referring to, right?
I'm saying don't say
Oh,
click my link in bio because now I have to go back to your profile. I
got
have to
it. All right.
click your
I'm
profile.
totally
That's
there.
one click. I had to click the link in bio. And then usually with link in bio, 6 different pages maybe on your website open. And it'll open up, let's say you've written 6 books. It's going to open up your book page, but it's not going to open up the book you just posted about in stories. Now I'm on my fourth click, fifth click. Now I'm looking for that book. And now I've forgotten the name of the book. And now I'm out. I'm Xing out. I'm going on to the next post. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I find the sticker feature in stories to be the ideal way to get me to your exact product. Maybe it's a blog you want me to read. So then you use the sticker that says new blog and you paste into that new blog sticker the link to your blog.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can go and read your blog. But again, if you say, check my link in bio. I'm not going to. If you say, this is the other thing you'll see a lot of now because people are tired of link in bio, it'll say DM me for the link, meaning direct message me to order the book. Oh my gosh, no, I don't want to
So,
message you. Are you kidding me? I want to just buy the book.
yeah, it's a problem. Now, how do we get around, Jules? Because some of them, I mean, I'm getting this pushback from a lot of people saying that if they if there's too many of these links, they're getting after them because then they say it's all the hustle. And where is the happy medium?
You just
Is
have to
there?
make it as easy as possible. It's kind of like, think of it like you're walking into a bookstore and there's a cover that's appealing to you. You're looking at, let's say, historical fiction, and you're poking through everything, and you know the cover tells the story. So
Yep.
I pull the book out and turn it over, and there's a price tag on the back. That's
Mhm.
the same as Instagram. I want to know, what does it cost and how do I buy it? Unfortunately,
Mhm.
I want to add, this is kind of unrelated to social media, but I see a lot of books that don't have a price tag on the back or on the inside cover. So that's also a lost sale, because don't make me wonder how much it's going to be once I buy it and you add the sales or the shipping, and that 14.99 book just became $28, right? So you have to make it really clear. Um, 28 includes ship, something like that. You want to be able to let us know, because it's the
Okay.
same as going in a bookstore. I want to pick up the book, look at it, know what it costs.
I'm so glad you said this because I'm going to throw in something that people may not be aware of. But Google has flipped a lot of challenges here recently. And one of the things that's going to happen, and we just did a podcast with John Kramer on this month, starting in January, and that Google wants to see the price tag. If you have a product for sale, which by the way, books are products, if you had a product sales, we most of us have on our, and this is how this is, they're talking about websites, by the way, when I'm referring to this, that you have a link that might take them to Amazon or BNN or somewhere on your website. You may have all those things, but I'm telling you, also add, like I can say, all my writing books are available for $20, and you have the 2O so they can see that.
Right.
My cookbooks are $20
Hmm.
for that thing, in addition to the link that will take them to the Amazon or wherever we're trying to send them to buy it. But
Right. Right.
Google is coming back this year and looking for that for your visibility, findability. So clue up wherever your products page, your store on your website is, you better go in and get revamps going now.
Exactly. It's we People are, they try to be tricky, and I don't think clever really works with social media. I think clear is what we're going for. When we try to be cute and clever, it doesn't move the needle, and you're trying to rise above the noise. And so you just have
Yeah.
to be so clear. Like, I want to make it easy for people to buy, easy for people to book an appointment with me. Um, so I just find that using stories with a sales link is the way you're going to make a sale. If you're just putting a picture of your gorgeous book cover out there, then what?
Mhm.
Then what? Then what? Give me a call to action, right? Tell me what I'm looking for by giving me that link, right? Historical fiction on sale today, right? So
Mhm.
you just want to inspire me. That's what I'm looking for when I follow a lot of authors, and I'm like, oh wow, she should have done this. I'm always thinking of the things that somebody could be doing better, more, not necessarily better, but to get a bigger impact out there on social.
Yeah, and I know that our focus is Instagram today, but I want to just say this also on your someone went through, he says, look at all this stuff you have on your content. My God, you tell this and you tell this. I said, yeah, if someone wants to get a hold of me, I want to make it really easy. So if they're this kind of person or this kind of person or this is how to connect with me now. And I'm
Right.
always, the people want to have this mystic around. No, you're trying to sell books or your services or what
Exactly.
else.
And you're trying to inspire people. So, you know, as an author, maybe you're going to do a short video of a chapter you're starting to read. You start
Mhm.
reading a chapter and then you have a link. Same thing. You're going to put up a reel, for instance, and you're going to be reading for, I don't know, 30, 45 seconds. And then you're going to have a link to the book because you've just given them that snippet. You've just reeled me in. You've just like, you're teasing me. And now I'm like, oh, I want to know what happens next. Leave me that cliffhanger,
I
right?
love that.
Because then I'm going
Yeah.
to click and I'm going to go and land on the your website, Amazon, wherever your book might be.
Well,
So,
I kind of love what you just dropped in. So would it be a good idea for a reel for the author to take? So you mentioned 15 seconds. How long should these reels be?
less than 30 seconds. I typically make my reels about 14 seconds because I'm trying to get under the 15-second limit. But what you'll also notice when you're using your mobile, when you go into your insights on Instagram, it'll show you the views, how long the views are. If you're seeing that people are dropping off after 11 seconds, shorten what you're putting out there. If they're dropping off after 1 second, your video just did not capture their attention. Again, that's the reason for trial reel. If you don't know if it's going to work,
Love
do
it.
a trial reel,
Yep,
right?
I love the idea. Right, so let's talk about you threw some other things to me. Let's say we want to
Okay.
cover talk about auto resizing. What's that all about?
Okay, so I'm not a perfectionist, but I do want my clients can count on me to create their graphics that fit the grid of the platform they're being posted on. So what I
Yep.
see too often is somebody's created a beautiful graphic for Facebook and they cross post it to Instagram. It does not fit the Instagram box, which is a 1080 by 1080. It doesn't fit and it falls off. So I can only read part of I can only see part of the content on the grid. Now, if I'm scrolling vertically and I see the grid, I see the content, I can click on it, it'll open up the full image, but I
Mhm.
want my grid to be appealing to people. So I don't want anything to fall off. So some people do Photoshop. I've been using Canva for 10 years. And I use the pro version of Canva so that when I create that Facebook, that beautiful graphic that fits Facebook, I can go to the resize, click resize, and then it'll resize it to Instagram, to LinkedIn, to wherever I'm going to be posting it. And then usually when it resizes, I do have to adjust the margins a little just to make it look a little cleaner. And then I have content that I can post over to Instagram. I think one of the biggest failures people make is creating one graphic and posting it in 6 places. It's gotta,
Hmm.
it's gotta fit wherever it's going. It has to fit the grid or it's just going to look sloppy. And to me, if it looks sloppy and clunky, I feel like that's a reflection of my own work. If it
Hmm.
just looks, is my book sloppy? Is my book messy? Does my book reflect what this post looks like? Because they're going to be like, they might, let's say you're an author and you put up a post that's got a typo in it. I may not buy from you because I am anti-typo, right? And I won't share anything that's got a typo in it or grammar error or something like that. So you want to be showing me your best, most beautiful content because then you've increased your credibility and I trust you. I'm like, wow, this looks so beautiful. I can only imagine what her book is like. So
Hmm.
that's important to me. Not important to everybody. I swear I go out on social media and I see mistakes all the time, and it just jars me to see the kind of content that people are putting out there that have mistakes in it. And people will like it anyway and they'll share it anyway. And I don't want to ever share something to my content, to my story that has mistakes in it, because that's also a reflection on me. It means I'm not
I
detail
agree.
oriented, not paying attention.
Right. Let's so I think that every lessons here is and most people are certainly familiar with Canva. If you have a VA, they're going to be familiar with Canva. Is the resizing tool available to everybody on Canva, or do you have to have pay the additional monthly? to use that?
It's the part of the pro version. The resizing
It's
is
Pro.
part of the pro. The pro version also allows you to uh edit out the background. And another thought for authors, this is kind of at the end of my notes, but I want to put it out there
Mhm.
right now.
Mhm.
If you're on Instagram and you're scrolling and you're learning a little bit more, I always like suggesting free tools to clients, but this is something you would have to pay for. This is when you can take a still image and turn it into a video by
Mm.
using an app like the one I made a note of is just called Photo Room. And no, I'm not an affiliate or anything, but I can take that still photo of your gorgeous cover, and then I can use Photo Room and I can turn it into a video with movement. Maybe snowflakes are coming down or fireworks are popping up over your new book launch, something like
Or
that.
the sound of water coming through in a
Yeah, you
stream,
want
you know, and
movement. Movement is going to pop up that algorithm. So if you're just going to post a still cover of your book, yeah, that'll look great on your grid. But if you want to make it move, then you want to use the Reels feature and create a video. And you also want to use something simple like Photo Room where I mean, I saw somebody post it was a cup of, coffee. I don't drink coffee, but they always do the hearts and all the pretty designs with the foam. Okay, well, they did that. And it was just sitting there. And then they used a different app. And then there was the movement, like the coffee, the steam was coming out of it. And that was so
Mhm.
much more appealing than just looking at the cup of coffee with the design on it. So that's the kind of thing you would want to be doing for your book. Maybe you're doing something where you're flipping the pages and then they can
So
see what the inside of the book looks like, kind of how they do on Amazon with just showing you the stills, of
Jules, you're talking about using your five senses. So just by
yeah,
getting
yeah.
that, you just go back to your coffee. So we've got the coffee, so maybe you can taste it. But boy, if we've got the steam coming up, now we can smell it. And it just brings more into the engagements, which was one of the things we wanted to talk about. How do we engage more people? Um,
Well, and that's something else I would say going back to stories. One of the most popular and effective ways to use stories are with polls, POLLS. So,
mhm,
do you like historical fiction or romance? Well, let's say they check historical fiction and that's what you're writing. Okay, there's a potential client for you. Then you might
mhm.
ask in the next slide, what's your favorite historical fiction book? What's your favorite romance book? Something like that. So, the more questions you can ask, the more polls that you run, this or that. Like Canva has some beautiful templates for this or that. Do you like this cover or that cover? Do you like this? Like every author has a professional headshot. Do you like this headshot or that headshot? Right? You're now involving your people by inviting them into your plan. And so with stories, I find that I will always increase engagement and potentially sales by using those tools where I'm asking those questions. Question posts get more engagement than almost anything other than Reels. Remember, Reels is your number one tools to use. But when you ask a question, do you like this color or that color? I'm in a marketing group with women writers, and they're always putting up pictures of the cover of their book. They'll put up 4 pictures. Do you like the white lettering, the black lettering? I love those because everybody likes giving an opinion. You will get overwhelmed with opinions, but everybody loves telling you what they think. So ask them what they think and then don't get offended when they say, they'll write, I don't like any of the covers. Okay, move on. That's just the 20% who's going to have something negative to say. Now read
Mhm.
the 80% of the comments that the people have something nice to say about those covers. And that is how you might generate a book cover you hadn't even thought of because people are like, no, you should use white lettering instead of black, or you should use green to match the porch swing that's, prominent in the photo. So the more you can ask people what they think, and this goes for Facebook as well, anything, you just want to be able to invite them to play. And by asking questions, you will get engagement off the charts.
Mhm. On that,
Always.
going on. Right. So what other things can we kiss on? Any best practices? that you've seen that have been there going forward?
Um,
Um,
I would add, because, and this is a nice way to put it, people, and this includes me and Judith, probably all of us, our attention span is shorter because of social media,
oh
right?
yeah, yeah.
Like when I go to watch a movie, it takes me a few tries to watch it. I'll watch a little, I'll go do something, I'll come back, I'll go do something. On social media, we're going to give you just a few seconds of our time, right? So in those few seconds, what you want to remember is, like, let's say, go back to my idea of reading a chapter. A chapter is too long to read on social media. You might do that on YouTube. Okay, you're gonna record a video of you reading a chapter, a section, something like that. But what you want to be doing now is, um, I'm using the word micro educating, micro influencing, micro tips. So you're going to give them a little bit of information about what the book is about, because they do not want, nor do they have time for a whole lesson. So you'll put the long form content out on YouTube or Vimeo, and you will do short form content out on social media, where you're inspiring them to click and go listen to the whole chapter over on YouTube. If you like this, watch my YouTube video. Then, of course, you'll have in your stories, you'll have a link over to the YouTube so that they can listen to your whole sample chapter or download your whole sample chapter. That's another great
Hmm.
way to get engagement, is offer a download of one of
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
chapters, especially if it ends in a cliffhanger, which most chapters should end in a cliffhanger. So anything that has sort of that micro learning experience is going to influence people to want to know more. And I see that a lot right now with the holidays coming. People are, some of the artists that I follow, they're showing me a beautiful way to watercolor your own holiday card, but they're not showing me step by step by step. In 14 seconds, they're showing me the paint they're using, the brushes they're using, the beginning of the ornament that they're painting, and the ending picture, and it's over. And I'm like, oh, I like what they're doing. Follow. I immediately click the follow button. Boom. They just got a non-follower to follow them. And they didn't even show me everything, but they inspired me to want to know more. So when you can give these
Hmm.
little mini lessons out there, you are influencing your non-followers. And it's one of the quickest ways to grow your followers is by giving them these little bits that it's all teasers. Just keep teasing me and I will be your follower. Sounds funny.
It's the dangling. It's the dangling of
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
candy. All
Um,
right. So I love the idea of micro lessons. Is that what you meant by that when you told me
yes. Yeah,
those
little bits of
little?
things that we, like you said, we dangle in front of them and then they want to know more.
Mhm.
Like I don't even know who some of these people are I quickly follow, but by following them, I'm going to get content in my feed that I want to see. And if I don't follow people, then Instagram is going to just send me ad content, sponsored content, things that I'm just
Yeah.
not interested in. So when I follow an artist like that, the likelihood of Instagram then showing me similar profiles, you know how they do that, then I'm going to
Hmm.
be seeing more content that I'm interested in instead of what the algorithm thinks that I want to see. I don't want to see that. So a lot of times on Instagram, they'll send a sponsored post and I go to the not interested. No, not interested, because if appear to be interested, then I'm going to keep getting like something that it's just going to add more of that content into my profile that I have no interest in seeing. So that's why these little kind of mini lessons can help people, um, to become a follower. Somebody who you never thought would be a follower is now could become one of your top followers and share your content. That's what we want out there.
All right. So on Instagram, um, remind me because I don't recall all the different rules of how long things last. How long will a story last? How long do reels stay up there? How long?
Stories
Help
Stories
me out.
last for 24 hours. They're
Stories are
on
24
24
hours.
hours. Yeah. And so, and reels stay on your reels tab forever. And your grid posts stay on your grid forever. I will say this about Facebook. What I've learned is that 45 minutes is kind of the deal breaker. If you've had nothing happen on the post that you wrote specifically on Facebook in 45 minutes, it just won't be shown anymore. For the most part, you might see it again several days later if it starts gaining traction. But like I wrote a post in preparation for this podcast on one of the social media groups I'm in. I posted it kind of early in the morning when I was alert. And then I noticed 2 hours later, nobody had commented, and I was surprised. So I went in and I wrote a comment, popped it right back up into the algorithm. And then I think I had, as I looked this morning, 19 total comments on that post, and they were still coming in. And so that's where I'm just trying to, you know, use my own comment to boost it back up. Sometimes maybe you'll delete it and you'll repost it at a different time. So
So,
it,
so here's what I'm hearing, and I think there's a belief out there that um, if they are reading, are these social media platforms able to identify your IP address, the author's IP address?
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay, so I think the one of the beliefs is because I think that's really an interesting thing you just said, Jules, Marie, is that if there's been no comments, make your own comment. And that you don't get dinged for that. See, that typically the belief is that we would, well, that doesn't help. So go ahead and just add to it.
yeah. All
And
I
keep it
wrote
moving.
was, I just wrote one word. I wrote anyone because I was looking for feedback. What I asked was, for those of you using Instagram with your clients, what have you found to be best practices and what is not working? Nobody replied about what isn't working, but everybody gave. Once I said anyone, then the comments started coming in, and I was like, okay. So I bumped it. That's what it's called. We bumped it. And so that way more people began to see it. And the person who replied in all caps was the one who said, resize your images. So he, like me, doesn't like things falling off the grid. But I kind of laughed about how he wrote it in all caps because apparently that's something that drives him crazy. So he's like, make sure that your people don't do that. And so
Mm,
that's what we're looking for sometimes. I just wanted to get feedback from people in the business who are doing what I'm doing that maybe I didn't think of. And so, like, I've used trial reels before, but four people commented on how awesome they were for creating conversions with their clients. And that is what we want. We don't just want engagement, we want conversions. We want people to buy from us. We're not here just to make you feel good. We're also trying to make a sale
okay.
softly. We're trying to make a soft sale, but we've got to be able to inspire and influence you.
Well, there you go. Jules, we're at the end of the show. So let's tell people how to get a hold of you. And I am just saying, I want to come back. I'm going to give you a jingle because I'd like to we could set up like a 2 hour workshop just on this and show and tell, show and tell.
Right,
This is how you
right.
do it. And we go in to do that. So Jules Marie, her website,
You can find me at 33words.us. That is my website address and also my Facebook page. My Instagram profile is a professional dashboard that is geared just to my hiking adventures. It is a business page, and I am a micro influencer on Instagram. But to find me and get tips about using social media practices to the best of your ability, that's 33words.us.
and then with that, thank you so much. I always love our hours. I
You're
always
welcome.
love
I
them.
love this.
And I have a whole page of notes. Oh, you can't see
Oh, good.
notes. All right,
Good. Thank
everyone.
you,
We'll see you
Judith.
next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judith. Thanks, everyone.